an eclectic semblance of storytelling and song, and I just wanted to kind of start off the evening with a small part of the chapter from a book that I've written, and it's kind of just based on connections, because for me I feel like that's the most important thing that we can all accomplish as human beings, is just making incredible connections with each other. I mean, that's why we're here, we're with our loved ones, with our family, with our friends, and in moments like this, it just really reaffirms that, you know, connections are what it's all about, you know, so, yeah. I'm going to start by reading a chapter. It's called The Lion's Den. It was based on a time when I was like traveling in Australia with an ex-partner of mine who was a massage therapist, and yeah, that's all you really need to know.
Good choice.
I was looking for a job. Yeah, so, all right, The Lion's Den. The massage clinic in which Beau worked had only been open a week. However, he had found firm footing in his newly acquired position with a natural kind of ease. Each morning, Beau would open the clinic in anticipation of new clientele, and when there were none, he busied himself with administrative duties in preparation for their coming. Each evening, Beau would return home to me and draw stories of how, under the guise of new employees looking up to the wealth of his knowledge, he was encouraged to awaken the teacher within. Beau found himself to be in a position where he no longer recommended elixirs of health to an impartial ear, but rather he thrived in a place where ears thirsted for such guidance. He was finally stepping into the teacher that I had always seen within those eager blue eyes, and I was proud of his developments. However, each morning that Beau set out on his occupational adventure, I realized just how alone I was in Melbourne. Beautiful people were beginning to insert themselves into my life, but there was still a continuity of long ago forged friendships that I found myself pining for. I missed those popover, uninvited, no need for prearranged rendezvous, relationships that I was yet to acquire within my virginity of my arrival in the city. I knew that such relationships could be mine, should I allow such alliances to formulate over time. But I was damp with the cloak of winter's lethargy upon me, and I found that my efforts were few. So instead, I sat alone in my hollow kitchen with a cup of tea at hand, and I thought of my best friend, Kay. I thought upon the citrus of her kitchen cabinets, welcoming us to sit down and have a cuppa beneath their retro ears. There, Kay and I would hover over our steamy cups like hummingbirds to caffeinated flowers, whilst endlessly dissecting and digesting life from every single angle. Just trying to make sense of it, I pondered over the maternal care that held itself in Kay's dainty fingers when they wrapped themselves around a china teacup, a microphone, or a braid within my hair. The deep green caverns of her eyes would always clear a pathway through the steam and look into me with an unfailing ability to make my business her business. And often, I was strengthened because of it. Kay's orange cabinets, well, they would always promise to keep our years of secrets locked away amongst their crockery. I sat in my own inhospitable kitchen and romanticized over mine and Kay's regular updates and of the grounding that I received because of them. They were 22 years in the making our connection the longest that I have ever had outside of my blood family. Kay and I had sat down beside one another as children, and with that meeting, she had immediately become a fourth sister to me. Since then, Kay and I have each fought against the odds of entirely separate continents in order to maintain a place by one another's sides. As adults, Kay's children became my children too, and we were impenetrable in our tribe. Our lives were enriched due to our unwavering determination to keep one another close because, despite the vastness of our differences, we knew one another's stories as if they were our own. But I had, as I always do, fractured that. I had put miles between our love with my impermanence and my longing for our connection. Well, that was my own consequence. With 4 months having passed since the scent of home had tendered my heart, I could not help but to miss Kay. I could not help but to miss many. I found that in my homesickness, I wanted, as always, things that were not particularly possible in that very moment. So I left my longings upon the kitchen counter with my empty cup of tea, and instead, I took what was offered to me. Bypassing the wheelchair that guarded the front door, I grabbed my worn leather jacket and made my way towards a secretarial job interview.